Hey, we've all heard the story of Noah and the ark, and a lot of times we think of Noah almost as like this precious moment figurine. We think of him as this cute, cuddly little old man wearing a flannel bathrobe, and he was probably a little forgetful, maybe a little clumsy, and probably chubby, and we put him up on nursery walls. We make him into like this cartoon character almost. But we need to realize that Noah was a rock star. The truth is that Noah was a serious, stone-cold stud. He stood out in his generation. Noah stood out, and that made him a rock star. In Genesis chapter 6, verses 5 through 8, it says this: "The Eternal One saw that wickedness was rampaging throughout the earth, and that evil had become the first thought on every mind, the constant purpose of every person." At that point, God's heart broke. He didn't get angry. His heart broke. And he regretted having ever made man in the first place. He said, "I know what I'll do. I'll wipe out humanity, my special creation, from the face of the earth, humans, animals, creeping things, and birds of the sky, for I regret that I ever made them." But there was one person whom the Lord could not let go of, Noah, because this man pleased him. I love that imagery. There was one person that the Lord could not let go of, and it was Noah. He stood out in his generation because he pleased God. He stood out because he stood up. Here's the big secret, all right? Here's the secret to the fact that Noah pleased God. Wasn't anything hard, wasn't anything complicated. Verse 9 says this: "He walked closely with God." There you go. He walked closely with God. It wasn't a one-time deal. It wasn't a decision he had made as a child. He walked closely with God. It was a daily process where he would walk, where he would do life, where he would just walk through his life, through his decisions, through his choices with God. He walked, he lived with an awareness that God was with him. He lived with awareness that he wasn't alone, that everything he did, he was doing with God. Verse 22 says this: "Noah listened to God and he built the ark." He did everything God asked him to do. He listened to God. He did what God told him to do, even though he probably didn't understand it. He didn't know what an ark was. He didn't know what rain was. Didn't know what all this, the implications of all this. What was this leading to? I don't know. It's going to be crazy. But he did it. He listened to God, did what God asked him to do. He walked with God. And he built a really big boat. And here's what I want you to think about. It was a huge boat. And I don't think it was just for Noah and his family. I think, I never think the ark was meant to be a petting zoo. And that's kind of what it became, because it was Noah and his family and a whole bunch of animals on a really big boat. I think it was meant to be a lifeboat. I think it was meant to save a whole lot of people, more than Noah's family. But none of them booked passage. None of them chose to get on the boat. All right? Now, stand out in your generation. Be the one who walks with God. Be the one who listens to God. Be the one who does what he says. Even if you don't understand it, you're probably not going to. And be the one who you live your life as a rescue mission. You realize that it's not just about you. You listen to God so that you can rescue others. You listen to God. You do what he says so that you can rescue others. And don't miss the boat. God bless you guys. Giddy up.